blood volume. The kidneys are located on either side of the spinal column, just like you said, sir. Thank you. A tube called the ureter leaves each kidney carrying urine to the urinary bladder. So the ureter, oh, quick thing I just want to throw out there, you guys. Whenever you see a word like this, that's bold like that, it's a vocabulary word. And whenever you want to learn something, sometimes it's better just get the vocabulary. Most of the stuff that you want to learn, it's all in the vocabulary. If you know the vocabulary, you'll have a better chance at like getting that test, especially if it's something like, I've never seen this word in my life. So ureter, this is a tube that leaves each kidney carrying urine to the urinary bladder. So you already know what it is just right there. Another vocabulary word. The urinary bladder is a sac-like organ where urine is stored before being excreted. So what does the urinary bladder do? Sir, could you tell me what the urinary bladder does? It carries our pee right before we pee it out. I know, that was fun. Can we get the next one, please? Okay, so here we have a visual. It doesn't do very much good if I just explain it to you. So here we have a picture of our kidneys, our veins. Yeah, I know, wow. And then right here, we have it enlarged so that way you can see what's going on. It doesn't have any labels. This picture's in your book. I couldn't tell you what's going on right now, but in a further picture, we're gonna look at the labels and exactly what it does and what everything's called. Okay, so blood enters the kidney through the renal artery. The kidney removes urea, excess water, and other waste products and passes them to the ureter. The clean filtered blood leaves the kidney through the renal vein and returns to circulation. Kidney has two distinct regions. So what we just went over right now was basically how your blood gets filtered, how it goes into the kidneys, and the kidneys then filter it out, you know, like you have filtered water, you know, filters out all the waste products so you can have nice clean water. The same thing, filters out our blood so we can have nice clean blood. And then it puts it back into our bodies. So our kidney has two regions. Okay, it's divided into two separate functions. Let me get the next one, sir. The inner part is called the renal medulla. The outer part is called the renal cortex. Okay, so here we got the picture with the words. That's pretty cool. Okay, so this outer perimeter right here, this is called the cortex. Right over here, the medulla, this is the inner part of it. The renal artery, I think. Oh, yes. Got my pointing stick right here. The renal artery is the vein that is the artery that brings in all the dirty blood. Am I correct, Mr. Diaz?
Correct.
Okay, this is what brings in all the dirty blood, the waste products. And it goes through here, goes through this process, and then out comes the clean blood. So the functional units of the kidney are called nephrons. Nephrons are located at the renal cortex except for their loops of Henle, which descend into the renal medulla. And here, okay, so here we have the actual function of what it does. This is the actual filtration process. Okay, so Mr. Diaz, would you help me out with this?
So if you see the red vein, the artery coming in, so you see the blood coming into the artery, it goes through the capillaries. The capillaries are all those little veins, and that's where it gets cleaned up, okay? And then it gets, the water waste goes out the collecting duct on the right and to the ureter. So that is your urine. That's going to be urine going into your bladder, and you will go to the bathroom and release that out. But the blood itself goes through the capillaries, gets cleaned up, and then goes through the loop of Henle, and then it goes back up through the vein back into back towards the heart to get pumped back again. And again, it gets filtered through there. And see the glomerulus? That's where everything's happening right there in the Bowman's capsule. Questions? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Okay, the nephron has its own blood supply.
And again, that was again the vein and the artery bringing bringing blood to the organ.
And
It has an arterial.
venule, and these are the different types of veins, correct, Mr. Diaz?
Correct.
Different kinds of veins that work inside the kidney. Each nephron releases fluids to a collecting duct which leads to the ureter. How is blood filtered?
So how do you guys think blood is filtered?
Any ideas? Yes, sir.
In our arms?
In your arms?
Yeah.
Not quite, not quite.
Through our brain.
Good guess. Through what?
Through our brain.
Through our brain? No, but I appreciate your participation. Yes, sir.
In our ribs or chest.
Think about what we're talking
In the
about.
heart?
Yes, in our ribs.
Yeah.
In our ribs, not in our heart, in our
Kidneys.
kidneys. That's right. So what
Sign up,
is this
sir.
process called? So here we're gonna learn about it right now. As blood enters a nephron through the arteriole, that's one of the veins, impurities are filtered out and emptied into the collecting duct. The purified blood exits the nephron through the venule. A mechanism of blood purification involves two distinct processes, filtration and reabsorption. So, can somebody tell me what reabsorption means? Reabsorption.
Think about a sponge. Reabsorption.
Tissue.
Say that again. Sucks up some stuff.
Yes.
Okay, you're on the right path. Tissue. So what reabsorption is when it pushes that same blood that just got filtered out back into our body. When our body reabsorbs that blood. So filtration is the passing a liquid or gas through a filter to remove waste is called filtration. Remember how we were talking about our kidneys, how they serve as a filter. So this process of filtration has to do with the kidneys. The filtration of blood mainly takes place in the glomerulus. Do you guys remember that, where that was on the
That was
picture?
what the Bowman's head. That was the little round, little baseball-looking thing,
Mhm.
right? Let's take a look at it again. It's right there. That round thing, that is the globulus. And let's go back to where we're at.
The glomerulus is a small network of capillaries encased in the top of the nephron by a hollow, cup-shaped structure called Bowman's capsule. So that's basically just describing what we just saw.
So reabsorption,
Most of the material removed from the blood at Bowman's capsule makes its way back into the blood. So that's actually kind of interesting because almost 100% of your blood stays circulating in your body. The process in which liquid is taken back into a vessel is called reabsorption, just like we were talking about. Almost 99% of the water enters Bowman's capsule and is reabsorbed into the blood. So when the filtrate drains in the collecting ducts, most water and nutrients have been reabsorbed into the blood. Remaining material called urine is emptied into a collecting duct. So does anybody know what urine is made of?
Yeah, liquid.
Liquid. What kind of liquid? What's in that liquid?
Water. Sewage.
Water. Sewage liquid. Yeah, that's, I guess, I see what you did there. You're right, but
like dirt
what's
water.
inside the water? So urine is what we get after, it's everything that's left of, so everything that's filtered out of the blood.
Yeah, what's left of food,
Uh-huh,
water like that.
it becomes urine. Yeah, so urine is primarily concentrated in the loop of Henle. So the loop of Henle is a section of the nephron tubule in which water is conserved and the volume of urine is minimized. So as the kidney works, purified blood is returned to circulation while urine is collected in the urinary bladder. The urine is stored until it is released from the body through a tube called the urethra. So whatever, the urethra carries the urine. So what we were talking about, what urine is made of, in urine there's small molecules including salts, amino acids, sugars, and even drugs are contained in the urine. So remember how kidneys, they filter out your blood, right? They're filtering out all the toxins. Well, when a person takes drugs, even caffeine, whatever it is, that's why they do urine testing, is because all the excretions, all the toxins in the waste that the body doesn't want, it puts it in the urine. So, so the control of the activity of the kidneys is mostly controlled by the composition of blood. So remember we were talking about that the kidneys also serve as a thermostat. They're very intelligent. They can measure, they can see if your blood composition isn't right. You know, if it's too watery, or if it's too, if it's not watery enough. It can sense that, and it makes the regulations that it needs to balance yourself.
Balance?
Yeah, homeostasis. Homeostasis, it means balance, just to make it easier. When you drink a liquid, it's absorbed into the blood through the digestive system. So here we go. As a result, the concentration of water in the blood increases. So when you drink water, you're really watering your blood down. You know, you ever have any of your parents that you have juice?
Yeah.
And they only pour like a half a cup?
Yeah.
And then they pour water the rest of the way?
Yeah.
They've done that? They're
Yeah.
watering down the juice. Well, when you drink water, you're watering down your blood. So as the amount of water in the blood increases, the rate of water reabsorption in the kidneys decreases. So the kidneys can sense when you're drinking water. So instead of pushing more liquid back into your system, it fills your bladder instead.
Yeah.
That's why you need to go pee more when you drink more. Less water is returned to the blood, and excess water is sent to the urinary bladder to be excreted as urine. So when the kidneys detect an increase in salt, they respond by returning less salt to the blood by reabsorption. So how many of you guys like salty food? Chips. You guys don't like chips?
Potato chips.
Cheese. There's salt in everything that we eat. So when we're starting to eat more and more salt, our kidneys can detect that too.
Whole building made of salt.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
That's a lie.
So salt is also contained in our urine. So when we increase our salt intake, that's also what we pee out. So homeostasis by machine. So we have kidneys, but what happens when our kidneys stop functioning? What happens if there's problems with those kidneys?
Cough.
You cough? No, not
No,
quite.
I didn't say cough. I said clot. Blood clot.
Blood clot, not quite.
Oh.
Anybody want to take a shot? What happens when your kidneys start going bad? What problems?
You cough to death, or I don't know.
Heart attack.
Not quite. So what homeostasis? So when your kidneys start failing, you probably want to consult a doctor. You ever heard of kidney donors?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kidney implants or transplants?
Well, the kidney stones.
Kidney stones are an issue,
Oh my.
but
did they cost a lot of money?
anything medical costs money, right, Mr. Pease?
Yep.
That's right. So when you have problems with your kidney, they need to get it taken out, and you probably want to get a new one. You know, that's why we were saying you could live on one kidney, but what happens when there's no kidney donors available? And this is what happens.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Homeostasis by machine. There's a machine. If both kidneys are damaged by disease or injury, there are two options: a kidney transplant, which is what we just talked about, or kidney dialysis. Does anybody know what kidney dialysis is? Anybody heard of it? You look like you kind of rung a bell. All right, that's cool. Kidney dialysis is, it works like this. So blood is removed by a tube. Just quick overview. Dialysis is basically a machine that you hook yourself up to, and it does everything that a kidney's supposed to do. It's basically like a robotic kidney. Yeah, see? So blood is removed by a tube and pumped through special tubing that acts like nephrons. Tiny pores in the tubing allow salts and small molecules to pass through, just like a kidney. Waste diffuse out of the blood into a fluid-filled chamber, allowing purified blood to be returned to the body. And this is what that looks like. So here you see the blood, it goes in, you got two hookups. One of the blood comes in, goes through this system, and it's powered by compressed air, fresh dialysis fluid. The blood comes here. Here, let me use this stick. Blood comes here, you know, and it's filtered in here. All the waste products goes in here, and then all the filtered blood comes back in. Mr. Diaz, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
Nothing. That life expectancy, if you end up on dialysis, is anywhere from 5 years to a little bit over 5 years, 10 years. Okay. My mom was on dialysis for 2 years before she got her transplant. So you want to minimize as much time on dialysis, okay? And this is a big problem. Kidney problems because of what? Diabetes. Diabetes.
Okay.
And with that, any questions?
No.
Well, Mr. Silva's got some questions for you.
I do have some questions for you guys. Let's see, so who can tell me, a dialysis machine performs the function of which structure in the excretory system?
Raise your hand.
Yes, sir. What is it?
C.
C? Let's see.
Raise your hand if you think it's C.
Does anybody have a different answer they want to say?
D.
D?
Okay, let's see.
A.
A, the nephron. Remember? The nephron. That is the part inside one of your kidneys, and there's a bunch of nephrons in there, and they do the cleaning. Next one. In the human body, the kidneys play an important role in.
What do the kidneys do in the body?
They suck up the bad blood.
Circulating the blood, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody have a different answer?
I'm going B.
You're gonna go with B?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maintaining homeostasis, a balanced
word.
system.
Balance system. Okay. In the nephron, the most filtration occurs in the
C, very good, good job. Glomerulus. Number 4.
last question. Urine leaves the body through the
No.
D.
Urethra, the
Urethra.
C. And last question.
Oh,
Materials.
last question.
Water.
Materials filtered out of the blood include all of the following except water,
Water.
urea, amino acids, or plasma proteins.
Water.
Which one is it not?
A.
It's A?
Plasma proteins. What? All right, and with that,
Oh. So, just real quick, you guys, can you guys answer me this last question?
What?
What are the kidneys for? What do they do?
Filter out